We'll call our meeting to order. First item is the invocation by Pastor Killen of the Church of Nazarene. The pledge will be led by Lisa Stockson.
Let's pray. Our Father, we thank you so much for the opportunity of serving you and the opportunity, dear Lord, to be here this evening. We thank you, dear God, for the privilege of living in this area. And we thank you, dear Lord, for the things that we are seeing happen around us. And we just pray, dear Lord, for your direction, your guidance tonight on this council and our mayor. We pray, dear Lord, that you would help that every decision would be a decision to be pleasing unto you. We just ask your guidance and direction in all that we do, that you would get honor and glory and praise. We pray in the blessed name of our Lord. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Pastor.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Next item is roll call. Diane?
Mayor Skoog.
Present.
Vice Mayor Nye.
Here.
Councilmember Anderson.
Here.
Councilmember Grossman is absent this evening. Councilmember Mallory. Here. Councilmember Rooney.
Here.
And Councilmember Whiting.
Here.
We have a quorum, Mayor.
Thank you, Diane. Okay. Scheduled announcements and presentations, Student of the Month for December and January. Thaddeus Martin, did I pronounce that right? And Lisel Stockson. Do I say that right? Lisel Stockson. Mike, you are up.
Well, it's nice to see everybody here tonight. And as I always say, this is my favorite council meeting, the fourth Thursday of every month, where we recognize our Student of the Month. And it's something special because I think there's very few opportunities where we're able to recognize our students, and we have very little, I think, knowledge in terms of what's going on at Bradshaw Mountain High School, but we know there's a lot of good things going on. And this is one way, I think, just to give you an idea and to recognize at the same time some outstanding students in our community. And we always say, and I'll probably say it up front rather than later, is that we hope to see both these students back in our community as young adults, productive and giving back to Prescott Valley. We hope that anyway. And we're a growing community, so we look forward to, and we are, I think, one of the younger communities in Yavapai County, so that would be even more helpful if they could come back and give us help in terms of making our community a little better. But we're here tonight as a part of kind of a triad of support from the Optimist Club of Yavapai County, Bradshaw Mountain High School, and, of course, the town of Prescott Valley to honor some of our outstanding students. And tonight, we just happen to have two because of the holiday last month in December. We weren't able to accommodate that schedule, so we're going to do them both tonight. We have Liesl Stockson, this young lady here, and Thaddeus Martin. And they have been, I guess, looked upon as achievers in their school, and you'll hear why. They're outstanding not only at Bradshaw Mountain High School, but also in our community and volunteering, and we'll give you a little more information about that. But we feel that both Liesl and Thaddeus exemplify the values that we feel are part of the Optimist Creed that we talk about as part of Prescott Valley in terms of our future and how can we mold our community to welcome our youth. And we're looking forward to the things that both of them can do in our community and out in the world as in the future. So it is an honor to thank them for being here, and it's an honor for the Bradshaw Mountain High School staff, the principal and administrative staff to help us recognize some of the students. As I mentioned, it would be hard for us otherwise to do that. So I do have some information here, and this is where we kind of embarrass the students. And we'll start with Thaddeus, who was the Student of the Month for December, so it's a little late, but we're going to recognize him tonight. And in both of these cases, I must say that they're both well-rounded students. That's a term I used probably in November as well. But I don't know how they do it, but they squeeze every last minute of the day to accomplish a lot that makes me tired just reading it, and I'm sure you'll be breathless as I talk about it as well, because they're very busy people. Thaddeus is the president of the National Honor Society. He's vice president of the Interact Club. Interact is very important because it's part of the Rotary International, and that's something close to us, and they've been involved with Youth of the Month or Student of the Month. He's secretary of the Mu Alpha Theta Math Honor Society, so he's a mathematics person. He's a member of the German Honor Society, which I think is a little interesting. He's a member of the Link Crew, and I think that is somehow involved with welcoming freshmen into the community at the Bradshaw Mountain High School community, which we appreciate. He volunteers with the Boys and Girls Club, has a dual enrollment, and these are things, as you hear, both as I go through Thaddeus's kind of resume as well as our other student, that there are trends here in terms of things that they do that seem very similar, and it is a trend, I think, from month to month, some of the things that our students of the month are doing. But he has a dual enrollment in college-level math at Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University as well as at Yavapai College, in addition to going to Bradshaw Mountain High School. He received a scholarship to ASU's Joaquin Bustoff Math Science Honors Program, a residential college math program, I guess, during the summer. And, ASU, I got my bachelor's and master's from U of A, so sometimes I don't look kindly on ASU. But I think because of the change in our football coaches this year, we may have a new rival. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. And he does plan to attend, of all things, the Barrett Honors College at ASU, working towards a degree in applied mathematics, of course. So we're going to let our principal, Court Minor, give a little information about his achievements academic-wise at Bradshaw Mountain. So take it away, Court.
Thank you, Councilmember Mr. Whitting, Mayor Skoog, council members, distinguished guests. I'm the Court Minor, proud principal of Bradshaw Mountain High School, and real excited and thankful today to Mr. Whiting and the Prescott Valley Town Council for allowing me to honor both these students. As he said, timing was kind of off with their meetings, our meetings, and Christmas break. So to talk about Thaddeus, first of all, I think Mr. Whiting did a nice job of talking about his involvement in the school and service organizations and clubs, leadership positions. But one of the things I kind of want to brag about is I'm very proud at Bradshaw Mountain High School. We have Algebra 1 for our freshmen, Geometry, Algebra 2. We move into Business and Technical Math. We have AP Stats. We have AP Calc. We have Calc AB. We have Calc BC. Thaddeus ran out of math courses to take on our campus. And as Mr. Whiting stated, he loves math. He's planning to go to study math at ASU. So this semester he is taking differential equations at Embry-Riddle University while attending Bradshaw Mountain High School. And so we're proud that we can give many opportunities to our kids, but we really love it when they take advantage of it, and Thaddeus has really done that. They probably already know because they've obviously applied to their schools, but I haven't let the cat out of the bag, but I will today when I meet with 42 of my 4.0 or better students. But Thaddeus is currently at 7 semesters. We're in our 8th. He has a 4.739 GPA. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. And he is currently our number 1 student in the class of 339 students. So he probably knew it with his transcripts, but when I pull all the kids together next week, I'll be making that announcement as well as here now, but he will be our valedictorian at this year at graduation. So very proud to introduce Thaddeus Martin.
Hi. I just wanted to start off tonight thanking the town of Prescott Valley and the Optimist Club. I think it is very amazing for your efforts to kind of welcome into the youth and kind of recognize some of the students from Bradshaw Mountain High School. Next year, I will be going off to college, and that is an experience that I'm very excited about and very humbled, and I cannot tell you how much I'm looking forward to that. And this award tonight is just going to go ahead and keep persuading me to go ahead and do the best I can. Thank you.
So what we'd like to do is just give you a little memento of tonight's honor, and we'll do that in a couple of ways. And hopefully, as you think about this honor tonight, it is, I think, a big deal. And the fact that you'll be valedictorian, I think, is a big deal as well. So hopefully this will be in your memories for many years to come. But we do have a certificate just indicates that you're the Optimist Club of Yavapai County, Bradshaw Mountain High School, and the town of Prescott Valley December Student of the Month. Congratulations, you've earned it. And we do have a memento that you can use as you're doing your work in mathematics, and that is that it's a paperweight, Student of the Month, Optimist International. So hopefully as you're piling up that homework, you can put this on top, and it'll remind you of this evening tonight. So we really appreciate the fact that we can honor you tonight, and you've done a great job. Congratulations. Okay, for our January Student of the Month, you've met Lysel Stockson, and she's another person, I just don't know where the minutes and hours come from. You know, I think it's probably a lot to do with youth and enthusiasm and the fact that they're committed to school and they know what they want to do in life, and I think that helps a lot. She is Vice President of HOSA, and we've heard of this organization as well. Health Occupations Students Future Health Professionals organization at Bradshaw Mountain. She is also a member of the National Honor Society. She's historian of the Mu Alpha Theta Math Club, so here's these trends again. Math seems to be a strong element of their life at Bradshaw Mountain High School. She's secretary of Bradshaw Mountain Drama Troupe, and I did watch something on our cable not long ago, and drama is something that's close, I think, to our principal. And we heard a lot about what's going on at Bradshaw Mountain High School, and obviously Lysel plays a big part of that as well. She's a peer guide for high school freshmen, as you heard with our other Student of the Month. She's captain of the varsity swim team. She, and I counted this up because there's quite a list, over 307 hours of volunteering at a variety of community organizations, too many to list. But again, where do you find 307 hours? I don't know. She's been a lifeguard at Mountain Valley Splash Pool, Prescott Valley, lifeguard at Yavapai College Pool, and she will be attending to Arizona State University studying therapeutic recreation. So all I can say is a graduate of the University of Arizona, as we like to say in Tucson, bear down, but I think they have already bared down quite a bit. So please help me welcome our Student of the Month for January, Lysel Stockson. Okay, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Whiting, again. I'm hoping you're hearing how involved these students are in terms of the service organizations. Lysel's very involved in our swim program. So I actually saw her swim at a meet. She actually swims very well. She's not a rock like myself. Mr. Whiting said it earlier about our well-rounded students. I will have this conversation with the senior class, but I'm not joking when I say to them, college is going to be much easier. You're going to have some time. I don't know where either one of them find the time to be involved in so many clubs and drama and athletics and keep up with the rigorous coursework of all the pre-AP and AP courses that they're taking. So I feel we prepare them well. They'll actually have maybe a little time off in college, maybe not know what to do with all the time they have. When Lysel came in this afternoon, I told her, man, this is just a tough class. As I told you guys earlier, 42 students were above a 4.0 or higher in her class. I was like, not trying to bum her out, but I'm like, darn it, if you graduated 2 years ago, you'd be number one. You know what I mean? Her GPA is a 4.477, and she is ranked in the top 4% of her class. She's ranked 12th out of 339 students. So very honored to introduce Lysel Stockson.
I want to start off by thanking the town of Prescott Valley and the Optimist Club. I think it's super awesome that they did this, and I'm very blessed to be nominated for this. I also want to thank my teachers and Mr. Miner, of course, for nominating me for this, and I want to thank my parents lastly. So thank you very much.
Speaking of parents, Why don't you bring him up, Liesl?
It's a great time to embarrass.
Okay. This is my father, Thomas Stockton, and my mom, Ann Stockton.
We're not going to let you off that easy. I think we'd like to hear from the parents of one of our students of the month, and I see somebody already hiding back there. So apparently you're going to
guess I'll do
take the
that.
honors.
I don't know that we can take much credit for it. Liesl did all the work. She's a very hard worker, a very good kid, and we're very proud of her.
Well, we appreciate the fact that she is here tonight, and we're recognizing her. And she wouldn't be here, obviously, without her parents. So we appreciate the support and all the guidance you give her. Apparently, it helps quite a bit. So we'd like to also recognize Liesl with a
Axel, don't sit
certificate.
down yet. You got 20 minutes to speak to us.
Now, we have a rule here that you can take 20 minutes, and so we're letting you off. So. But Liesl, we wanted to give you this certificate as well to just let you know that you're recognized as January Student of the Month from the Optimist Club of Yavapai County, Bradshaw Mountain High School, and town of Prescott Valley, and we congratulate you. So hopefully you'll hang that somewhere prominent so it reminds you every day the good work that you do. And then again, we do have a paperweight, so all that homework you'll be doing, you can just keep it in place with the Student of the Month paperweight. And I think it's true. You know, I think when I went through my master's program, it seemed much easier than things in the past. So I think it's right on. So I want to congratulate you both for your achievements this year and look forward to hearing from you at graduation. And we thank Court Minor for his guidance and leadership at Bradshaw Mountain High School. Congratulations. I'd like to get a picture. I don't know if somebody would like to volunteer to take this picture. We can't let anybody go without taking a picture. One more, just in case. I can photobomb it. Thank you very much.
Mr. Minor, keep bringing out top-notch students, and congratulations to both of you.
You might need to talk to Mr. Wright about maybe the paperweight might have any skill go on.
Happen. Maybe a basketball.
Yeah, remind him, okay? Well, thank you so much, and congratulations. Thank you, Mike. Okay, next, comments, communications. Anyone in the council got any comments or communications? Jody?
I do. Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to remind our folks who are watching and here in the audience this evening for council that we are in our 40th anniversary. We're going to be having an agenda item later, but there's multiple events that are happening this year for our 40th anniversary here in the town of Prescott Valley. We're coming up on the I Love PV poster contest, and I know that those winners of the poster, they'll be juried and brought before council. As well, we'll be having in March on the 24th the extravaganza. And for our families here, this is something that is wonderful. It's a free event for the kids. There's lots of eggs all over that green lawn with prizes as well. And it's lovely just to come out and be together as a community. And just mentioning ahead, and there's Arbor Day on April 27th. And of course, we're going to be having Prescott Valley Days in May. We have lots of other events as well. I won't go into more of that tonight, but I'll be back.
Jody,
Can't wait.
are we going to have some surprise guests at the extravaganza?
Well, you know, I kind of heard that.
I heard it too. I just wanted to confirm it. But we're
Yes.
not telling.
Oh, no. They're going to
Have to
tune
come
in
and
for
find
that.
out for yourself.
You bet.
Good. Any other comments or communications, anyone? If not, we'll go on to our consent agenda. Councilmember Mallory will read that.
Got it. All matters listed under the consent agenda are considered routine by the Town Council and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items, and if discussion is desired, that item will be removed from the consent agenda and will be considered separately for discussion and possible action. A, approving the January 4th, 2018 work study minutes. B, authorizing the mayor to sign resolution number 2034, adopting 2 Arizona State Library and Public Records, ASLAPR, updated records retention schedules, and approving the revised town policy number 5-03, records retention and dispositions. C is approving an application for an interim liquor license permit, Series 6, and a person transfer for the Prescott Golf and Country Club, Inc., located at 1030 North Prescott Country Club Boulevard. Justin Henderson's the applicant. D is approving an application for acquisition of control of a Series 12 restaurant, liquor license for Pizza Hut, located at 7430 East Povway. Teresa Morse, applicant. E is approving the special event liquor license requested for the Prescott Valley Chamber of Commerce for the 2018 season. F is approving the donation agreement with the Prescott Valley Pickleball Association for development of pickleball courts. G is approving the December 22nd, 2017 selection committee meetings. H is accounts payable. I, monthly financial report. J, council investment report. And that concludes.
Okay. Anyone want to pull an item for discussion, or do you want to approve it as a whole? Now, we do have a lady from the Pickleball Association here. I don't know. Do you want to make any comment? Okay. Anyone care to pull an item, or do you want to approve it as a whole?
Mr. Mayor, I'd be happy to make a motion to approve all items listed on the consent agenda.
Second, then?
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Would you set the vote?
Councilmember Rooney?
Approve. Yes.
Approved. Councilmember Whiting?
Yes.
It's approved. Okay, thank you so much. We appreciate that. Now we'll move on to number 8A, confirmation of appointing Renee Ramsey to the Library Board of Trustees. Leah or Laura?
Actually, because I was absent, I'm going to ask Councilman Anderson to handle that because he had the privilege of doing the interview.
Okay. Well, it's my privilege tonight to do this. We had one position on the Library Board of Trustees become open when Alan Hall resigned effective September 20th, 2017. Mr. Hall was first appointed to the Library Board of Trustees on June 28th, 2017 to fill an existing term with a renewal date of June 30th, 2018. The vacancy was advertised and we had 3 applications received. Myself and Councilman Marty Grossman conducted the interviews and are recommending the appointment of Renee Ramsey to fill the vacancy made by Alan Hall's departure with the term renewal date of June 30th, 2018. And Renee is in the audience. If you'd please come up and be introduced to the council.
While Renee is coming up, I'd like to share that I already heard from Mr. Anderson here how fortunate we are that she was willing to come forward and serve, and how perfect a fit you are. So congratulations. So tell us why you're willing to do that.
Well, I'm delighted to
pull the mic down just a little bit.
How do I do that?
Towards
Grab
the
a hold of the
top.
handle and pull it
There
down.
you
There
go.
you go.
I'm delighted to be considered for an appointment to the library board. Prescott Valley has an outstanding public library, and I relish the idea of being able to work with the board members and with Casey, the newly appointed library director. and the ongoing board members in support of the library's mission in this community.
Thank you. Now we need to make it official.
Well, I'll be glad to make a motion. Motion to appoint Renee Ramsey to the Library Board of Trustees with a term renewal date of June 30th, 2018 by electronic and voice vote.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Would you set the vote, Diane? Renee, this is the test.
That's unanimous, Mayor.
Unanimous. Congratulations and thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. Okay, we're going to item number 8B, consideration of approving the Prescott Valley 40th anniversary logo and street pole design and use.
Mr. Mayor and Council, this item is before you this evening because we have a very strict set of rules as it relates to the town's logo. Okay, very, very strict applications, how it can be presented, colors and things like that. The 40th Anniversary Committee has done an outstanding job of putting together a full menu of activities for our 40th birthday party. One of the things that they have chosen to do is to come up with a logo for that. Now, seeing that there are certain elements contained in that logo that might look like the town's logo, I just wanted to make sure that this met with your approval and your action so that it can be used universally on banners and stationery and all that. So with that, have at it.
I don't know. Go ahead and ask for it. She's wondering if we can get it on the screen so people can see it. Is that possible? No?
Does somebody have it?
I don't have it. I don't know who would have it.
Answers that. Jody, any comments?
Larry is correct in that we would be using it on numerous other articles, and like clothing articles as well, too, in this particular case. There is a time constraint on this just for this year of 2018, but because of the special event, we did want to be able to signify that this is we want to just bring it forward and make it an independent item. So it's important to be able to use this in a proper protocol, and so we just went through the formal process of it.
There is an attachment. You can't bring it up. He has it on his screen.
I can't, but all of you
Okay,
can.
all right.
Yes.
Any other comments? Mike?
Yeah, I just thought, there are some elements you'd recognize as part of our logo, which, obviously we need. And what strikes me is just, I think, the colors, and it looks like a celebration, and it's our 40th, which is very important. So I really like it a lot, love it. So I think whoever designed that did a great job.
Any other comments? Richard? Rick?
I think it's excellent.
Since I helped, I agree.
It's wonderful. I love it all. It's going to be an exciting year.
The town was incorporated in 1978. 2018 is 40 years, and this is our big 40th. Okay.
I think we need a motion, and I'd be glad to make it.
I think we're ready.
Motion to approve the 40th logo and banner designs and use by electronic vote.
Second, anyone?
Mr. Mayor, I'll second the motion.
Okay, with a motion and a second, would you set the vote, Diane?
That's unanimous, Mayor.
That's unanimous. Thank you. We'll move on to number C, consideration of authorizing the mayor to sign resolution number 2032, adopting town administrative policy on the social media. I don't know if Heidi is
Mr.
here.
Mayor and Council, I am Heidi's poor replacement. I apologize. Heidi, Larry says it's bird flu. I don't know exactly what it is.
Are we
but,
going to allow that?
Poor Heidi was in bad shape. But she sent me some materials, and I can kind of follow up. Let me just let you know that our office, Carol Cornell in particular, have been involved in the two policies that you'll be being asked to adopt tonight. As we try to respond to changes in technology and the way things are done. We've been using social media as a town now for a while. We've been doing so without having a formal policy, and there has been a lot of discussion out there in the world about how to use social media and to put in place some of the deal with some of the issues that have developed as a result. Heidi wanted me to let you know that we have a Facebook site, a police and library site that is also, I think, on Facebook. Then we have the Parks Department has an Instagram site, and the town and the police are on Twitter as well. So all of these are used to disseminate news, public activities, safety and other announcements, and work to grow and develop the sites, especially for use in an emergency. So those things are being done, and we're trying to stay on top of that technology. I think Facebook, we have 13,000 followers. So that's a fairly significant way that we get our information out. And so we eventually had to go out and contract with someone called Archive Social in case we got public records requests related to that site. And because obviously we're creating a multitude of public records, and we felt we would need an outside consultant to help us with that. So what this policy does, it indicates what we are already doing, and that is we moderate the comments. Now we have a policy that we can fall back on as we moderate those comments so that we'll make sure we're following the correct balance in relation to free speech. At times you've got to take down certain comments, but other times you leave them up regardless of what they may say, as long as they're not profane, off-topic, spam, or threatening. And there is indeed a profanity filter in place, apparently. So again, we're trying to follow that balance appropriately. It also, as a policy, says who can post on it, who has the authority ultimately to post on it, the expectations of employee conduct in doing so, and making sure that upper management approves what is placed on the site. I can tell you that other communities' sites were looked at, and a lot of research was done to make sure we were at least following what we thought the case law is moving towards. And I want to thank Carol for a lot of the work that she did with that.
Good. Anybody got any questions, Laura?
I don't have a question, but I want to share some information here, which I thought was so appropriate, because we hear, I'm not going to use the favorite word out there for news, I'm going to say inaccurate news. But what this states is a primary purpose is to protect the integrity of the information posted on its social media sites and the content attributed to the town and its officials. That, to me, is one of the most critical pieces, and that's why I'm going to be so happy to vote yes.
Any other comments or questions?
Somebody make a motion.
Yeah, I agree with the comments we've heard, and I think it's always, what I call kind of a sticky issue anyway, what we include and what we don't, but I think we have to be very careful in how things are presented and what are said. And we've been very, rigorous in terms of how we operate, and I think we appreciate the guidance of our legal counsel for that. So I think we've done a great job. So I'd be more than happy to make a motion authorizing the mayor in his absence, the vice mayor, to sign resolution 2032 adopting town administrative policy 1-10, social media.
I'll second that, Mayor.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Will you set the vote, Diane?
That's unanimous, Mayor.
Thank you, Diane. Okay, we move on to number D, consideration of authorizing the mayor to sign resolution number 2033, adopting town administrative policy number 111, unmanned aircraft system UAS program.
As our employee comes up, as Mark comes up to talk about that, I just want to give just a similar preface. A lot of work was done to look at all of the issues that are developing out there. One of the challenges we have is that it's still not done. You know, this is an evolving issue. And yet there are a lot of concerns on all sides, and we wanted to make sure we had something that was reasonable and in place. And the legislature has gotten involved in this already, and so we're kind of limited by legislation in terms of what can and can't be done. So just wanted to share that with you.
Mark, welcome.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. The item you have before you tonight is a UAS program policy, and I'm just going to look through some of this. So we recently purchased a UAS, and some of the missions that the UAS might be used for would be something like emergency management, capital projects, search and rescue activities, law enforcement, mapping, measuring, recording events, you name it. There's a bunch of things. And, of course, nowadays you see a lot of drone footage on TV, and I don't know if you've all seen the PVEDF video, but they used a lot of drone capturing some great points of interest of Prescott Valley. So staff is proposing that we adopt a UAS program and so establish some guidelines in accordance with this, like Ivan just said, some of the state, federal, and local laws and ordinances. So the policy would basically coordinate a similar policy adopted by the police department, and both have been reviewed by Ivan and the legal department. So when you adopt this policy, this point of reference will be like, I think, one of two agencies in the state that have adopted a policy and procedure program for a UAS, which is pretty big. And then we've gone a step farther. You could get a COA, which is a certificate of waiver, but we decided to go the way the FAA is requiring most, and to, suffice the legal department and some of our insurance needs and whatnot. So myself and Eddie Garcia, the other production media specialist, we are going through the exam process or the study guide to get our Part 107 licensing or certificate so that we can fly and we'll be like the remote pilot in charge. It's similar to like general aviation license or a private pilot's license. You kind of go through the same coursework. So we're hoping to get that done in the next month. So with that, I'll answer any questions you might have.
Questions, anyone?
It's interesting.
Jody?
Yeah, I do have a question. You mentioned we don't have to go to the next step, but I'm wondering, because we haven't finished this up in the legislature yet, do you foresee anything down the road, Mark, that we can be looking ahead to be prepared for with this?
With use of the drone, I mean, the UAS is...
One of the things we've looked at is most of this is happening at the federal level. Okay. And the discussion at the federal level is whether they're going to give some additional flexibility for commercial uses or not. We've taken a very conservative approach and said we're going to get our certificate and we're going to seek, in certain circumstances, a COA, a waiver, if we need to. And so we keep that as an option. But for the most part, we're taking a very conservative approach, and we'll see what plays out. We'll see what plays out. A lot of folks, of course, are worrying about privacy interests, and we've got a lot of language in there that says we're going to make sure that any use in a police context, for example, has the direct approval of the chief of police before it's ever implemented. And we're monitoring this closely to see where it goes.
Any other comments, questions? Apparently, this is a living document. You're going to be changing it. The laws, new laws.
Yes, and you can change this policy by resolution and so it'll be part of all of the town policies that you adopt and amend. The PD has their own separate policy, but the two have been looked at separately, or so that they're together in their analysis, and we feel comfortable with it. We believe that most of the use will actually be in public works. We'll be spending a lot of our time going up, taking photos, and doing those kinds of things for public works purposes.
Any other questions or comments? Mike? Oh, I'm sorry. Laura.
It occurs to me, beyond the life-saving, capabilities here, mapping and public works, I think we're going to save money, and we're going to be more effective and more efficient with this science. And I'm delighted that we are moving forward, and I'm comforted that we are being so careful about the usage and the licensing. But who wouldn't be happy to save lives and save money?
Yes, definitely.
Rick?
I'm just curious, does any part of this policy affect the general public in how they deal with us? Or is this strictly how the town will be affected by this policy?
This just deals with how the town...
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Other questions, comments? Mike?
Yeah, I just wanted to mention I think it'll be a good tool for Prescott Valley, and I assume all the operation, because of your licensing training, will be done through your department, it sounds like. Or is that going to grow in the police and public works as time goes on?
Actually, the town manager is the manager of the program to start with. And he can delegate that. He'll probably delegate that to Ryan since he's... I see. Yeah.
I believe the Air Force will be confined to Channel 58.
I can't say, though, with the remote pilot in charge certificates, staff who shows the capability of flying the UAS can fly it, and as long as we're there watching, observing them, they can fly it with us being there.
Well, the issue sounds very much like the issue we went through as far as medical marijuana, and I think we did a good job in that respect. And obviously there'll be changes as time goes on, and the same with this. So I have the greatest confidence in terms of what we've outlined here. So look forward to the project moving ahead.
All right.
Jody, do you have a comment?
No more.
Any other comments, anyone? Anything else, Mark?
That's it.
Ivan, anything else? Ready for a motion, I think.
Make a motion. Motion to authorize the mayor in his absence, the vice mayor, to sign resolution number 2033, adopting town administrative policy number 1-11, unmanned aircraft system, UAS, program by electronic vote.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. We set the vote, Diane?
That's unanimous, Mayor.
Mark, you can go to work on it.
Thank you.
Okay, we move on then to number E, consideration of authorizing the mayor to sign 2035, approving FDP 17-013 Orchard Ranch Phase 2A. Joe, your comments.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. This is a final development plan as required in the Planned Area Development Zoning District. This is for Phase 2A expansion of the Orchard Ranch Manufactured Home and RV Resort, and comprises an additional 210 spaces, approximately 37 acres, located west of Fane Road, at the terminus of Sarah Jane Lane. The 2A expansion includes 21 acres that was part of 114 acres annexed in 2003 that included the existing Orchard Ranch, and 16 acres that was part of 67 acres north of the existing facility that was annexed in February 9th, 2017. Orchard Ranch originally comprised 352 RV spaces and 78 manufactured home spaces. In 2004, a rezoning was approved allowing approximately 200 additional manufactured home spaces. The recently annexed 67 acres and 67 acres already in the town limits was rezoned to C2 PAD, along with approval of a preliminary development plan for 493 new manufactured and RV spaces for phases 2A and 2B. So 2A comprises the first 200 lease spaces, And there'll be connectivity with existing development, but the new phase will primarily be accessed from Sarah Jane Lane off of Fane Road. Public Works has reviewed engineering plans, and the site will be developed and landscaped in accordance with town code standards. That's available if you have any questions, and recommend approval.
Questions, anyone? Comments?
Mr. Mayor, I had one question.
Mike?
Yeah, I was just wondering, we don't anticipate any alterations to Sarah Jane Lane. It'll just be ready for the development?
Yeah, that was, we annexed it. We annexed that portion you see there of Sarah Jane where it ends is in the town limits, so the town controls the access to it.
So there won't be any upgrades or any
No, for the traffic study, it can be accessed the way it is.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Larry?
Yeah, Joe, has there been any indication when they're going to extend to the full limit of their north boundary?
Yeah, that would be, well, shown on here's the final development, the preliminary plan that was approved. So you can see in red is this phase 2A, and then later phase 2B will include the rest of the property. I haven't heard, and Mark couldn't be here tonight, Mark Worth, but I'll check. I mean, I'm sure as soon as the first section is filled up. Moving on. Not exactly sure.
Good. Any other questions, comments? Joe, that's a big project. And it looks like a good one, so. Anyone have any comments, motions, demotions, commotions, promotions?
Mayor, I'll make a motion. Make a motion to authorize the mayor in his absence, the vice mayor, to sign resolution number 2035 approving the FDP 17-013. It's Orchard Ranch Phase 2A, and to sign any agreement under Proposition 207.
I'll second that, Mayor.
Okay, we have the motion and a second. Would you set the vote, Diane?
That's unanimous, Mayor.
Thank you. Okay, move on to F, consideration of awarding a contract to Tomar Elevator Components Incorporated for the Civic Center Elevators Rehab Project, CIP F411, in the amount of $26,008. Norm?
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor, Council. This item you have before you is for the cosmetic enhancements to the existing Civic Center elevators. I always like to say cosmetic enhancements because we always make sure they're safe. But as we pointed out, we talked quite a bit in last week's work study that when the building was built in '99, we haven't done any significant enhancements to those elevators, and they've taken quite a bit of use and abuse with all the traffic we have in our buildings. So it's time in staff's idea is to make sure that we do these cosmetic enhancements. Staff has gone through significant due diligence to search out of contract for this work, and what we're asking for tonight is for the staff recommends award to Tomar Elevator Components in the amount of $26,008 for the cosmetic enhancements to both cabs, so to speak, of the Civic Center elevators. With that, I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Questions, comments, anyone? Sounds like rehab, what do you call it, refurbishing.
Refurbishing, cosmetic enhancements, absolutely, Mayor. Replacing the panels and the existing carpet we're going to replace with
right, but we're not going to put carpet down, right?
We're not going to put carpet down.
We learned that lesson.
Any other comments, questions? Jody?
If there's no other, I'd be happy to make a motion.
I think if there's no questions, we're ready.
Okay. I make a motion to award a contract to Tomar Elevator Components Incorporated for the Civic Center Elevators Rehab Project, CIP number F411, in the amount of $26,008.
I'll second that, Mayor.
Okay, Diane, we have the motion and a second. Would you set the vote?
That's unanimous, Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor, Council.
Okay, we go on to number G, consideration of approving a budget transfer from contingency funds in the amount of $19,100 to the police evidence Capitol building remodel to renovate a line item. There's Chief. How are you, Jim?
Great, Mayor. How are you today?
Good to see you.
Good. Mayor and Council, if I can talk about something else for just a moment. I want to celebrate what I think is a big win for Prescott Valley. As many of you have probably seen over the past couple of days, there have been some reports in local news outlets like Calf Country that cite the National Council for Home Safety and Security ranking of Prescott Valley as the safest community in northern Arizona. And that is something that we really, I think, need to recognize and acknowledge the good work of our people at the police department, but also the partnership that we have with the community, because it really takes both of us working very well in tandem and in trust to keep this community safe. So what I can say is that I am very proud of our people. I am very thankful for the council's recognition of the need that we have at the police department for staffing and those kinds of things, as well as our community's willingness that they have shown to be part of that success. So what I'm here to talk about tonight, besides that, is a story. I'm going to go back to the beginning just to remind everybody very briefly, but months and months ago, we had an employee by the name of Kim Moon. Does everybody remember her?
Yeah.
We miss Kim greatly.
We love Kim.
We do. We do. She left us, unfortunately, traitor. But we wished her the best, and I think she's doing quite well. But I say that to tell you that she and one of her engineers worked with us to do a study on the evidence intake that we have. There have been a few things that have influenced the amount of evidence that we have to store, and those things include an increase in the volume of crime. But I think of equal or maybe even a more impact is some rules that the state has come up with that require us to store property for some pretty long periods of time. There are many crimes that we have to keep the evidence for 99 years, and we have no control over that. And those are obviously the more serious crimes like homicide. But you would be surprised at the retention period for some of the less serious crimes. So I'll not get on that soapbox, but I will say that some of those standards are outside of our control. They are for good reason, because obviously there are times when it is needed for that evidence to be presented in court at a later date. And if it's not available, then there can be problems. But I say all that to say that studies showed that we were going to run out of space in our current evidence storage. And I can tell you that we're there. So that study was put together, it showed what we needed, and we have reached or are very near capacity. There is one shelf left in evidence that I'm aware of. So in June, we presented to you an option, thanks to our collaboration with the Central Arizona Fire and Medical Authority. Thank you, Chief. And their board's approval, obviously, to lease from them for the sum of $6,000 a year, about 1,600 square feet of space. And what that 1,600 square feet of space is going to allow us to do is to have off-site storage where we can take those pieces of evidence that we store for long periods of time and store that evidence there. Now, we're not going to take things over there that might be an attractive target for thieves. We're going to keep that stuff at the police department where it's under constant protection. It will be under constant protection at the off-site storage facility as well. We will accomplish that through one of the expenditures that's being requested in your packet, which is the alarm system. So in essence, what this request is asking you to approve is a $19,100 transfer from contingency to pay for electric, drywall, a fence, which will be placed inside the building so that there is a second barrier between the entrance and exits and the evidence itself, as well as the alarm system and some steel shelving on which we will store the evidence. So, if there aren't any questions, if there are any questions, I'd be happy to take them.
What I just wanted to ask if we were going to verify the response on the alarms that go off there.
We have had that conversation. I anticipated it, or I should say we anticipated it, and in saying that, I'll acknowledge Paul Dunn, our evidence supervisor. Paul has put this together. He worked diligently with Kim Moon to put that study together, and so all of this work is credited to him. Some of us remember when Paul Dunn worked as an officer for us. He left and went elsewhere for a few years, and then we were fortunate enough to get him back as an evidence supervisor. He's a great asset to our agency and the community. But, yeah, Paul and I talked about that today. So,
Mary, comment?
Well, I want to say that, we've done well for 40 years in working with what we have. And as the community grows, it's only fit that we have to start to continue to grow the town and the different needs in it. I also want to congratulate you for a great job what the department does in the community for making our town what it is.
Thank you. I will pass that along to our people.
Any other questions, Laura?
I'm surprised that we managed to go this long before we got to this point. I've been in that evidence storage on 2 occasions when we were taking some classes touring, and I don't know how you made it this long. I don't think it's been safe for a while, actually. I kept thinking, gosh, stuff's gonna fall down if you bump something. And while that might seem minor, it isn't. So I'm delighted that we're here and we're going to be effective and efficient. And don't you just love that we have another act of partnership?
Amen. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
And if I can actually echo one of your comments, you speak about safety.
Yes.
And obviously that is of utmost importance when we're storing things like drugs, firearms, and ammunition. And so the other thing that this is going to allow us to do is to relocate some of those items within our current storage facility.
Exactly.
So that we can have better protection for our people from the fumes and the things that do arise, especially from those drugs.
Rick? No. Any other, Jody?
Thank you, Mayor. You know, Deputy, I was amazed, Councilmember Knight, when I looked at the facility that housed all of the evidence, how tall the ceilings were and all the shelves and everything on it, and how many years that we have to hold that, but yet we're required. And so I think it's a good use of renting space. But I do have a question, you know, so is this something that the chief, I mean, he's so frugal and really good with money. I mean, did he rent out his office? Is that what was going on there?
Oh, he lost.
Can we have your office along with the offsite storage, Chief? I think that was that the question.
Okay,
very
any other
current
questions?
comment.
Anything else?
Bite your lip.
Any other comments, Jim?
No, thank you, Mayor.
Are we ready for a motion? If anyone, Mike?
Be happy to make a motion. I agree. I think we are very happy to collaborate with the fire district in this respect and look forward to that transfer. That was one of the questions I had, if we were going to relieve some of the area in our current storage area, which is good news. So I'd be happy to make a motion to approve budget transfer from the contingency funds in the amount of $19,100 to the police evidence capital building remodel / renovate line item.
Second, anyone?
I'll second that.
Okay, we have the motion and a second. Will you set the vote, Diane?
That passes unanimously, Mayor.
Chief, it's okay. Go for it.
Thank you.
Okay, we move on to number H. Consideration of ratifying and approving the September 27th, 2017 consultant agreement with Johnson Engineering Company for forensic engineering services related to HVAC issues related to the joint facility, library and college. Ivan?
Mr. Mayor and Council, as you know, we've been working for quite some time to get in a position where we can have a successful mediation with the architect and contractor who built the library in order to be reimbursed for some of the things that have been spent already to fix the roof and do other things in the building, and then to finance what we anticipate will be some other fixes that will be needed. One of the things that we've done is we've gotten into the process is we've discovered other challenges. And one of the things we've discovered is that we have some HVAC issues in the building, not only related to the HVAC units, but also some of the polycarbonate paneling on the second floor and the way it was designed and installed. So we've needed to go get some experts for the preparation of our claims, and one of those is an HVAC expert, Mr. Johnston. We were able to get some of his help using Larry's signature, but as you know, once we get up to $16,000, we have to come back and have that ratified so that we can make some additional expenditures, and that's what's being presented to you tonight. Just as an update, we are in the middle of discussions about a mediator and timing for mediation. So we're in the middle of all of that and hope to be getting that accomplished. Now, I have to tell you that I've been overly optimistic too many times when I thought I could get it done in a month, 2 months, 6 months. Here we are much later, and we still haven't quite got there yet. But I want you to know that it's something we're pushing for very hard.
I appreciate the work you're doing. Any questions or comments, anyone? Laura?
I do. I was really glad this was the last item in our packet. When I was studying my packet, this was like picking at a scab to read and reread, all the trials and tribulations. But the good news is we are addressing it, we are there, and we're in the solution portion of this unfortunate circumstance we found ourselves in. And I just want to take this time to thank you for everything you've been through, Ivan. So much of this, the litigation, so on, and finding consultants.
Thank you so much. And I do need, Stephen's not here. He's probably back at the office watching this, but Stephen and Bill Osborne deserve a lot of credit as well. They've been heavily and directly involved with these consultants and have been doing a lot of the heavy lifting. So I appreciate the work they're doing.
Please share my comments with them because I know how unpleasant it's been.
Thank you.
Any other questions, comments, anyone? Anything else, Ivan? No. We really appreciate you worked your tail off on this. And this has lasted for months. Any comments, Larry?
No, he still has a tail.
Tell it to who?
No. You don't want to know.
I don't want to know. Okay. Anybody care to make a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Okay, we're ready.
Okay. Motion to ratify and approve the September 27, 2017 consultant agreement with Johnson Engineering Company for forensic engineering services related to the HVAC issues related to the joint facility by electronic vote.
I'll second that, Mayor.
Okay, with a motion and a second, would you set the vote, Diane?
That passes unanimously, Mayor.
Ivan, thank you so much. It's been a big, tough one, and we're anxious to get it resolved, but it's a tough one. Okay, we go on to item number 9, comments from the public, and Jody will read that one.
Consideration and discussion of general unscheduled comments from the public. Those wishing to address the council need not request permission in advance. Any such remarks shall be addressed to the council as a whole and not to any member thereof. Such remarks shall be limited to 5 minutes unless additional time is granted by the mayor. At the conclusion of the unscheduled comments, individual members of the council may respond to the item addressed at the discretion of the mayor, or they may ask the town manager to review the matter or ask that the matter be placed on a future agenda.
Thank you, Jody. Anyone from the public care to comment? Come on up, Debbie. It's good to see you, Debbie. Appreciate your being here.
Thank you to the mayor and this council. I am so excited to be a part of this community and to help celebrate the 40th year. Moving forward, I just am looking forward to volunteering and giving what I can and giving back to all of you. I know you've been planning for a very, very long time, and through all of your efforts, you just make us better every day. And I just want to thank you, and how exciting for this community and all of us. And I just wanted to thank our public safety people. Again, they've just elevated this community and made me more proud and humbled every day. So thank you for public safety, fire, and police. Again, thank you.
Thank you, Debbie. Anyone else? Kirk, any comments? Chief, anyone else? No more comments? Then we have one more item that we've got to take care of, and that's adjournment. Anyone care to make a motion to adjourn?
Mr. Mayor, I'd be happy to make a motion to adjourn.
Okay, second, anyone?
I'll second that, Mayor.
Would you set the vote, Diane?
That's unanimous, Mayor.
No objection to adjourning. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you all for coming. And